What is going on, everybody? Zach RC here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome along to episode 79 of the F1 Ultimate Career Series for the Italian Grand Prix. If you guys did miss the last episode, make sure to check that one out before you see this one. And as always, if you are new around here, then make sure to get subscribed for more future F1 content as the series continues on. So, 5 rounds to go then in the 2024 season. We head to Monza today for round 12, nearing the final quarter of what has been a spectacular season so far. And of course, Monza, the first race we took victory in last season. Of course, we went on a barren run at the start of season 3. It took us 10 rounds last season to take a victory. We've got 3 in the bag, come into this race having won the last one in Belgium, and of course both our rivalries going fantastically well, leading Norris in both of them. Only need 7 points over Norris to win the championship rivalry there, which is still keeping it at the heated level. Intensity wise, in terms of R&D, we've got over 1,000 points to spend here, so plenty of upgrades to go on the car this time round. We'll go for one on the chassis department, minor department upgrade there, coming in after Monza, and one more on the powertrain front, again coming in after this Grand Prix. So we'll have 2 more on the car for Baku next time around. And in terms of the power unit, things look okay for now. Might potentially make a change to that turbocharger before qualifying. In terms of the World Championship standings, 34 points then to the good over Norris. Leclerc in 3rd place, 5 points back from Norris, and Verstappen 54 points off the summit in 4th place. So work to be done then. I think his chances are getting mighty slim now of winning this World Championship. But in terms of the power unit, going to make that change back to that turbocharger, use our old one, and I'll switch them over when we get to the start of qualifying, which is for getting the car for qualifying. So advancing through the season break here, and obviously advancing time not towards the race itself. Not going to get enough points here to go for any more upgrades before this Grand Prix, so we'll leave it in terms of any more R&D work for now, and hopefully have a few more to play around with for our next race in Azerbaijan. But for now though, let's head over to Monza and get this race weekend underway with qualifying.
They call it the Temple of Speed, and the pilgrims have come to worship. It's all about the speed today. Qualifying awaits us. Welcome to Monza for the Italian Grand Prix.
Here it is then, the Temple of Speed in all its glory, the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, and we are set for what should be a fantastic Grand Prix weekend as we look to try and extend our lead in the World Championship, take a second victory here in Italy. Of course, the race in Monza for the first 4 seasons is one I did want to win since day one, more or less. Of course, had our first chance back in 2020, lost that race in the last lap, retired late on in 2021. We were nowhere in 2022 after a poor qualifying, and of course won the race last season. So can we try and go back to back? That's the objective in today's episode. So on to the racetrack now to get our first qualifying run underway here. One of the Ferraris there in front of us on the racetrack. Of course, Ferrari have gotten stronger and stronger over the course of the last few race weekends. Keep an eye on them over the course of this one. So going down towards turn 1 and our first lap underway. Of course, DRS in play very early on down the main straight, going towards the first chicane. One of the Mercedes cars emerging onto the racetrack, and not quite sure what that is. Looks like Lewis Hamilton going into turn 1 here, so hopefully he'll get off the racing line, move out of our way here to make our way through the exit of turn 2. He stopped on the line, he's braked on the line, and truthfully we could have reacted to that a bit better, but now we've got wing damage, so our first run compromised here by the AI's inability to move over out of turn 2. Lewis knew we were on a fast lap and did nothing to get out of the way, so our old teammate not doing us any favours here. 27 seconds in the first sector. Obviously our first lap is, as I say, compromised, unfortunately, thanks to that damage. So of course the rest of the lap a lot slower than what we expect to be over the course of the next 2 laps in this session. Of course, the race weekend as a whole. Leclerc fastest 119 as a benchmark for us, and it's going to be a time in the 120s here. It'll be a 121.925, so 2.5 seconds off of Leclerc here, so work to be done then. Our second lap's going to need to be a lot better than this. In terms of weather, there's a potential chance of rain over the course of the Grand Prix, but I'm looking into it, and 45 minutes from the start of the Grand Prix, it's still sunny, so whether we'll get any rain for now is it remains to be seen in the race. But in terms of our qualifying as it stands, we are 2.5 seconds off the pace, as I say, and in dead last right now, so our second lap is going to need to be a lot better than this. Unfortunately, with no Mercedes cars in our way to try and break our wings, we're going through Ascari now and into the last sector of the circuit, a second and a half up on our previous effort, but of course Leclerc was 2.5 seconds up on us, so we need to get a lot more time here. Bit of battery to be used going down towards Parabolica, the right hander of turn 11. Once again, into the round we come, and getting a lot more here. Look how much we've just put up. We've put 4 tenths up on the run into the right hander, and on corner exit here, charging towards the line. 2 seconds now, improving on our previous effort, up towards the line. It's P2, so half a second back from Leclerc now, a lot closer this time around compared to our first effort. But unfortunately, thanks to how late we set that time, only 3 minutes to go in the session. By the time we get back to the pit lane, there's only 1:25 left, so no time for us to go out for a flying lap, and we're more or less out of time in this session, so it's only going to be the 2 runs for qualifying.
With qualifying complete, all that remains now is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
So just the one proper lap then. Leclerc takes pole by half a second. Our second time was not topped. Norris in 3rd place, Sainz in 4th, Hamilton 5th. And that's Alonso, Perez, Stroll, Russell and Max Verstappen in 10th. Red Bull getting worse and worse here, but it's going to be McLaren versus Ferrari for the win. Who will take it? It's time now for the Italian Grand Prix.
A difficult race awaits these drivers here in Monza, but glory awaits too at the Italian Grand Prix. With top speeds up to 215 and an average lap speed of around 155 miles per hour, Monza's reputation as one of the fastest circuits in the sport is well earned. We have 11 corners on this 3.6 mile track, with the best overtaking chance coming into the heavy braking zone of the Turn 1 chicane. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and Cohen completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Norris, Sainz, Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Perez, Stroll, Russell, Verstappen, Gasly, Ocon, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Bottas, Sargent, Albon, Hülkenberg, Joe, and Daniel Ricciardo fills the last spot on the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track. And alongside me today is a man who needs no introduction, but I'll try anyway. It's Ant Davidson. Look, we know it's not where you start, it's where you finish. But let's talk about the start now. What's there to help the drivers get away well?
Big pressure at the start of the race, Crofty, for all of them up and down the grid, no matter where you are. But the drivers these days, they practice, practice and practice. They have rigs with them at the circuit where they can sit down with the actual steering wheel from the real car, and they've got lights that they react to. The clutch paddle is tailored around the driver's hands, around their fingers, so they can have optimum position before they start. So there's so much thought and effort that goes into getting these cars off the line.
Here we go then, no more talking, time for action for the Italian Grand Prix from P2 on the grid, next to Leclerc's Ferrari for the rundown towards the first corner. In terms of strategy, they're mediums to start and hards to finish off the Grand Prix, but that rain looks to be coming at some stage in towards the last few laps of the race. Let's keep an eye out for that, keep an eye on the sky. I imagine it'll get a lot darker as the race continues.
The formation lap gets underway here at this historic track in Italy. Some monumental moments in history have come from right here. Will we be treated to another today?
So medium tyres then, the weapon of choice for everyone on the grid here. No outliers, but everyone looking to be as fast as they can at the start.
As the cars make their way back to the starting grid to form up and get ready for lights out, let's hope the race ahead today is a thrilling one that will go down as a memorable Grand Prix in the history books. So
it looks to be McLaren versus Ferrari then for the rundown towards the first corner and the race as a whole here. Leclerc on pole, the Tifosi cheering him and Carlos Sainz on. Norris and myself looking to try and spoil the party and of course trying to add to our lead in the World Championship. We need to beat Norris and Leclerc in particular. Verstappen less of a threat from P10 on the grid as the last few cars take their places here to get the Italian Grand Prix underway. The lights are coming on. Time to bring the action here at Monza. Lights out to the floor. Go, go, go. Racing here in Italy. Good start from Leclerc. Jumping out there in front. Completely nailing his getaway. And on the run down towards the first corner, there's no challenge from us. But Norris trying her outside it in towards the first braking zone we come. Trying to outbrake our teammate into the first corner. But still on our inside there. Going to cut him a bit less room. Going through turn 2 and keeping ourselves in front of our main championship rival. But Leclerc had a monster getaway there from P1. And as a result leads us into the first sector here. Heading down towards Della Roja for the first time. Turns 4 and 5. But Leclerc, you can't fault his getaway. A fantastic start. He'll be hoping to carry that form into the Grand Prix to make our way in towards turns 4 and 5 for the first time. Pushing on now towards the end of lap number 2 and our first real chance to try and take on Leclerc for the top spot here. Going through Parabolica and looking for DRS on corner exit. Going down towards turn 4 once more. Norris on our tail here. Top 3 have broken away. Lewis there in P4. Sainz in P5 leading the rest of the train out back. But onto lap 3 now. DRS in play for the rundown towards the first corner. Both myself and Norris getting a good run on Leclerc. Going to pull to the outside of the racetrack on the Monegasque in towards the first corner. And to the disappointment of the Tifosi, going to challenge for the race leader into the first corner. But Leclerc gets a much better drive through turn 1 than we did. And in fact, Norris pulls alongside us. The two McLaren teammates going wheel to wheel here towards Curva Grande. In turn 3 we come. Leclerc in front of the pair of us here, watching this show play out in his mirrors on the rundown towards Della Roja once more. Side by side with our teammate, but pulling in front, going towards turn 4 and maintaining P2 for now. But our two compatriots, Norris and Hamilton, keeping us honest right now as he gets to work on chasing Charles Leclerc back down to try and take the race lead for the first time proper in this Grand Prix. Pushing on now to lap 4 of the race. Out of Ascari and down towards Parabolica. Once again, close to Leclerc now. Norris half a second back. No real threat to us right now, but we have DRS for the run towards turn 1 on lap 5. But closing on Leclerc now, pulling to the inside of the racetrack. Our first real move for the lead here. Leclerc outbrakes us, going to try and force it back in, but we hit him, hit his side pod, and that's our mistake there, and we slide off of the race, almost off of the racetrack, keeping ourselves under control. Fortunately, hanging on to P2 and still getting DRS, but Norris a lot closer now, and Hamilton on his tail too. DRS in play for all three of us here. Norris to the outside, Hamilton to the inside, almost 3 wide. They're going towards this first corner, but closing on Leclerc. We're going to try the outside if we can, and going way past our braking markers into the runoff area at turn 1. We're going to slow up here and allow everyone back through again. Leclerc retakes the lead. Norris gets past us for second. Hamilton reclaims third, and our objective now is to try and get back around Lando Norris and get ourselves back into P2 once again as the whole train runs. 1, 2, 3, 4. No threat from Stroll and Sainz behind us. On to midway through lap 5 now, and down towards Ascari once again, closing on Hamilton, making our move here as Norris tries to fight Leclerc for the lead into Ascari. Those two going side by side for a second, but Leclerc clearing him, and we clear Hamilton and take ourselves back up onto the podium once again. But Leclerc and Norris fighting each other into Ascari there, as it cost them both time on the run down towards Parabolica once again. But Norris is closing in and making his move a lap later here on lap 6. Norris trying the inside, contact between the pair of them, but Norris takes 3 lead as we slide through Parabolica through the last corner. Hamilton on our tail now for the run down towards the first corner once again on lap 7 of the Grand Prix. Leclerc making his move on the right, back past Norris, back past our teammate, and reclaims the lead going to turn 1. We're closing on both cars here with DRS to our advantage on our teammate. Going to make a move, try and squeeze ourselves to the inside if we can into the braking zone and get our objective, making the pass to Norris for a second, but he's still alongside us out of turn 2. Go better exit though, better drive off from the second corner and up into second place outright once again. But Leclerc now 1.2 seconds in front, so work to be done to try and close him back down. And on to lap 11, a few laps later, nearing our first pit stop of the Grand Prix. We're now right back on Leclerc's tail on the run towards Parabolica once more. 4 seconds in front of Norris and Hamilton. Sainz still in P5, so Ferrari good points right now, but McLaren doing a bit better here as we slide through Parabolica once again. The dirty air from the Ferrari in front causing us all sorts of problems here as we can start to begin lap 12 of the race. DRS once more for us on the run towards turn 1. Pit window is now open. Hard tyres going on at the end of this lap for us, and Leclerc may well join us in the pit lane here, but for now it's a fight towards the first corner to the outside of the racetrack once again, trying to outbrake our rival in the Ferrari. Into turn 1 we go, and through turn 2 we've got the inside here, but Leclerc better drive off on the outside and reclaims the lead for himself once more. That might cost a bit in terms of Norris and Hamilton, who are fighting themselves for third place. Now, objective now is to try and get around Leclerc before lap 17. So plenty of time to do that here. Of course, the pit window also opens, so try and get him in the pits if we can. In terms of strategy, depends on what he does. They're going wide there through the first Lesmo, through turn 6 into 7 now. Once again, DRS for the run towards Ascari here. Rear goes open as he starts being our chase on our rival in the Ferrari once more, going down towards turn number 8 and closing in all the time on Leclerc. Where do we make our move? Trying to get to the outside, the inside is a better place to go. Try and squeeze in if we can, but Leclerc covers us off fantastically there. So Leclerc maintains his lead only just as we go over the curb there at turn 9, and right on his tail, sliding out of Ascari and back towards Parabolica once again, closing on Leclerc for a moment, but now he's pulling away again. So no DRS for us for the minute. Obviously no DRS on the run towards the last corner here, but of course our pit window is open and we're going to pit this time. Will Leclerc join us? Looks to be following a normal line here going through turn 11, but out of the last corner we come. Leclerc now pulling to the right, and we are coming into the pit lane for our first stop of the Grand Prix. Both of us coming in for what I assume will be hard tyres. Objective postponed for now. Norris and Lewis both stay out, so both cars move into the lead for the first time today here on lap 13. But in we come now. Ferrari and McLaren, one behind the other in terms of pit stall placing here. Here comes the Aston Martin into the pit lane. Though we're coming in up front to Leclerc. It's going to be very close here. We might have just done it. And we have. We've narrowly beaten Charles Leclerc at the pit lane. McLaren have absolutely cooked here in the pit stops. And we're so close, we were actually ghosting inside of Leclerc there. So we actually get out in front for the minute and pulling out of the pit lane. We are into a net first place here. So as I say, the mechanics have cooked with the stop there. And into turn 1, we find ourselves down to P15, I believe. But now a net first place. Once everyone else pits, we will emerge into the race lead once again. So yeah, into P15. Guan Yu Zhou and Daniel Ricciardo next 2 targets in front of us, 3 seconds ahead. But Leclerc on our tail on hard tyres, as is Fernando Alonso, 6 seconds back. And further on to lap 13 now, running towards Ascari. Leclerc gets his turn to attack, making his pass around the outside here, clearing us before the braking zone. And into P15 he goes, so into the net first place for himself as we close on Zhou, Ricciardo, that train in front. Norris and Hamilton pitting now, coming to the pit lane for their first stops of the race onto hard tyres themselves, and closing on Leclerc now. No battery being used to pull out a line and going down towards turn 11 this time compared to lap 4, pulling alongside him all the way here into the braking zone. Got a better line on the inside. He's had to give us space here, going through turn 11, through the right hander we go. And Zhou, will he come in? No, he won't, but Ricciardo comes in. Number of cars cars still staying out from it, but a lot of them coming into the pit lane here. Almost dead even between myself and Leclerc, but DRS in play, helping us edge that bit further in front onto lap 14 of the Grand Prix, past halfway now, and Norris and Hamilton emerging behind us here. So into P5, once the last few cars pit, that'll put us back in the lead here. Russell and I believe Sergio Perez yet to pit as of right now. So pushing further on now as we try and pull away from Leclerc as best we can here. Onto lap 17, a couple laps later. Leclerc on our tail and Norris only a second behind us. Hamilton P4 and Alonso P5. Train here starting to build as there's a yellow flag out of turn 2. Looks like one of the Saubers has got problems of some kind. Not entirely sure who it is at the minute. It looks like Valtteri Bottas has got a problem for the second race in a row. Bottas is out of the Grand Prix, retired in Belgium and now retiring in Monza too. Poor luck for Sauber and for Bottas, because neither one of the two Sauber drivers has scored a single point all season here, and their struggles really do continue here in 2024 after taking over Alfa Romeo at the end of last season. But Bottas is going to have to pull the car over there out of turn 2, and that's very so for him as Guan Yu Zhou continues on valiantly to try and get some points on the board for Sauber if he can, but chances are looking grim here. But on to the end of lap 17 now. Leclerc on our tail and Norris and Hamilton on our tail too. Alonso not too far back there in P5. Top 5 train here is making way up towards the parabolic once more. Leclerc trying the outside this time. Can we try and keep it in front? It's side by side through turn 11. Leclerc to the better exit here, going down towards the main straight once again. 10 laps to go in this Italian Grand Prix, and anyone could still win this thing. Norris behind us here. We're going to have DRS this time round, going towards turn 1, so going to pull alongside Leclerc once more here. Norris closing in 2. Will he try and go for move as well? He's going to go to the inside there. It's 3 wide towards the first corner here at Monza. Into the first turn we go. Norris still on our inside. They're going to give both cars room and making contact, bumping both machines here as they make way out of turn 2. There's just not enough space for 3 cars to go side by side through their yellow flags for Bottas, so we maintain our lead then, and Norris takes P2 from Leclerc now. But a lap later, on lap 19, Norris is trying to make a move himself for the race lead if he can, but Leclerc gets to it first. Leclerc back into second place and making his move towards the Sky once more side by side with the Ferrari into the braking zone. Who's going to blink first? Into turn number 8 there. Leclerc on our inside, going to give him the space here. We're going through turns 9 and 10. Leclerc does the job, clears us, and only just gets in front, tapping the back of that Ferrari on the run towards Parabolica. And actually, I got a bit of fun here. Actually shoved him on the run down towards Parabolica, just pushing him all the way down there. No damage done to us, no damage done to him either. So a bit of fun with the game. We're going into turn 11 now, and once again back behind Leclerc here, but potentially a move to be made down the main straight once more with DRS in our hands. Norris in P3, Hamilton still in P4, so a constant train here. 5 cars in contention to try and win this thing, perhaps even more than that. The train is starting to build up once again, but closing on Leclerc now on the run towards the first corner. Leclerc defending to the inside, going to try the outside if we can, but again, he's held his line fantastically and maintains his advantage as the Tifosi cheer him on through turns 1 and 2. As to try once again to try and get around as best we can here. Onto lap 20 this thing, and only 8 more laps to go, just under 8 laps now at this stage of the race, but Leclerc has been constantly around us throughout the entire race here. In terms of weather, guys, check on that.
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
Rain in 10 minutes. There's a chance it could hit us towards the end of the Grand Prix potentially, but running towards the Ascari once more, trying the inside and the outside, and Leclerc now once again making that move on the inside this time through Ascari, and once again reclaiming the lead once more. But we can't celebrate just yet because the lead has changed hands so many times today. It's incredible. And a lap later, on lap 21 into Ascari once again. Norris now in second place, Sainz to P3, Leclerc down to P4 now, and Hamilton P5. Places are changing constantly here.
Inbound, and we're expecting it in around 5 minutes. 5 minutes till the rain.
5 minutes till rain now, so the rain getting closer and closer. There's every chance it could hit us now, perhaps in the last few laps of the race. I shouldn't think they should want a change onto intermediates here, but there's a 4-car train starting to break away here. Hamilton's still in P5, but we're leading our teammate and both Ferraris here down towards turn 1. 6 more laps to go in this thing, and Norris makes his move to the inside of the racetrack. Leclerc going for it too. Leclerc to the right hand side, Sainz to the left. It's 4 wide down the main street of Monza, and Charles Leclerc has outsmarted everyone here. Into the first turn we come. Leclerc reclaims the lead. Sainz and Norris fighting for second place. Do you know what? I can't even be upset at that. We lost 3 places there, but that was just such an incredible move from both Ferraris there, outsmarting both McLarens as Sainz and Norris do for second place in front of us. They're trying to get back around our teammate, at the very least going towards De La Roja once again, but Leclerc pulling away now. Sainz in second place, can't make the move into the chicane, so have to maintain our spot in P3 for now, but clearing Norris, and Charles Leclerc has absolutely played that to a T there, going towards the first corner as Sainz now sits in front of us, our next target, before chasing them on the gas, back down for the race lead, and down towards the Sky once again. DRS in play for us, but nothing for Sainz because Leclerc too far out in front. He's 1.4 seconds ahead and making a move to the inside now, going into turn 8, and once again P2 back in our hands, but Leclerc is only just out of DRS range. There's a chance, but I think it's getting slimmer and slimmer as the race continues on here. Sainz gives us pressure from behind with Norris and Alonso there behind, running at your top 5, and on to lap 26 now. 1.8, 1.9 clear of Sainz, but Leclerc 1.9 clear of us, and here is the rain starting to arrive here. This later on in the Grand Prix, I have to try and survive 1 lap in these sort of wet conditions. That we should be fine in the dry tyres, but obviously they're quite worn now, these tyres. They've been on for about almost 15 laps here, and going wide through Parabolica there, so Leclerc comes through 2 seconds in front of us now to start the last lap of this Grand Prix. Sainz, Alonso and Norris busy themselves by fighting each other for the last place on the podium here. One more lap to go in Monza, and our race for second place looks more or less set, but Leclerc is all good in the lead here, going down towards the first corner behind us. Sainz, Norris and Alonso going at it 3 wide again in towards this first corner. Hamilton behind them for good measure, and going through here, all of them slowing each other up. Sainz taking P3, but Norris also fighting for it towards turn 3 once again, but Leclerc and myself, no concerns to us right now. Through us going for the last time, and down towards Parabolica as the rain has fallen. Leclerc has excelled here, and that 4 wide move more or less won in the race as he into Parabolica he goes for the last time, and for one of the rare points in Ultimate Career where the real dive winner wins the race in this series too. But Leclerc comes up the last corner to cheers the home fans, and Charles Leclerc takes his second career win at the Italian Grand Prix and second place for us. Disappointed not to be walking away with a win, but more points for us gained on Norris in particular in the World Championship, and Leclerc obviously gained a few, so it'll still be a constant gap here, still around 30 points-ish at the end of this race. Leclerc driver of the day, pole to the victory for him, an all-round a very exciting day in Monza.
And Leclerc to the line, to the checkered flag. It's King Charles today. He wins.
To do it as a team on home soil, that really means something special, and you can see how much it means to them, the drivers involved as well. Great job by them today, of course, as always, but for the fans watching on too, a great display of teamwork here today.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari do it again.
So for the first time in Ultimate Career, Ferrari win on home soil. First victory at Monza. I mean, they've won at Imola before, but this is the first victory at the Italian Grand Prix. And it goes to Charles Leclerc, second place for us. And in the end, there was a tough fight battle between those guys going 3 wide in the last lap. But it was indeed Lando Norris who took third place away in the end from Carlos Sainz. But crucially, that'll do us big points on Norris in the championship. Only a few points gained, but those points get more and more crucial towards the end of the season here. One more quarter of races to go, and I've looked now at the final results in the race, and that leaves us in terms of our championship standing with just 4 races left.
Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
So Leclerc then from myself and Norris, your top 3. Alonso finished in 4th place in the end, so actually managed to beat Sainz to 4th. Hamilton finishes in 6th, Verstappen 7th, Stroll 8th, Russell 9th, and Sergio Perez then nabs the last point over Esteban Ocon in P11, of course. The only retirement being Bottas earlier on the halfway stage of the Grand Prix. Where does that leave us then in terms of the Drivers' Championship? It leaves us a total of 32 points clear of Leclerc. Norris down to P3 then, Leclerc taking second place of the victory. Verstappen in 4th, 66 points out. I'd say it's more or less over for him now in terms of the title chase with just 4 races left to go. And in terms of constructors, again, formality there. McLaren 139 in front of Ferrari, so gaining points once again on our opponents. So plenty more to come than 4 races to go before the end of this season. But guys, that'll do it for this episode of the F1 Ultimate Career Series. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure to like, share and subscribe for more future F1 content. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.